Hello. Now we are going to talk about the infinite iterators. Basically, in iter tool modules, we have the three infinite iterator. The name is count, cycle, and repeat. Let's import these three functions from the iter tools. Let's run this. Now we'll talk about the count functions. Now this count function is very much similar to the range function, except this count function does not has the stop value, though it has both start and the step value. Let's see the example over here. Here we're using the count of 10. So again, let's see that. So this G is nothing but the generator. We can even check that. Here we can check the type of that. Let's call type of G. It's an iter tool count, right? So it is similar to the generator, right? Now here, now here we are using iSlice to slice this object till 5 times, or to slice this object till 5. Now here, let's say that here when we say count as 10, this count value will start from that 10. It is not the stop value because this count does not have the stop value. So 10 is the stopped value we are passing over here. So when we run this, we'll get 10, 11, 12, 13, 14. So we'll get the 5 element, right? Now here we can also pass the step value. We are saying count 10 and now we are saying step is 2. Now this is the step value. So instead of 10 and then after the 11, it will give you 10, 12, 14 and so on. Let's use the iSlice to get the 5 element. Here we are using 10, 12, 14, 16 and 18, right? Now unlike range function, where argument must be the integer, the count can also work with the float data types. Let's create a count object from the float data type. So here we are starting from the value as 10.5 and the step value is 0.5. Let's run this. Now we want to get the 5 element after 10.5 with the step of 0.5. When we run this, here we are saying that 10.5, after that we are not getting, so like after that, because we have the step value of 0.5, we are getting 11.5. So here we are getting the 11.0, then 11.5, then 12.0 and so on. Right? In fact, we can even use the different data types. We can even use the complex numbers. Here you can see that it is possible. We can even use the decimal numbers. So here we are importing the decimal and now in this direct integer or float value, now we are passing the decimal object for both start and the step value. So the step value is 0.1. When we run this, and now when we say that we want the 5 value from 0.0 as a decimal object, when we do this, here we are getting a decimal object. See that, right? So this is how count function works, right? Now let's talk about the cycle function. So it is being used to repeat the loop over the iterables, right? So again, this cycle is being used to repeat the iterable data. For example, consider that here we are passing the tuple of 3 element red, green, blue, and this tuple is being passed to the cycle functions. And now this is a cycle object now. Now when we run this cycle object to the iSlice, and now we are saying that we want the 8 element from this G. What this will do, this will first, so the first element is red, then green, then blue, then again it will repeat red, green, blue, then again it will say red and green. So this way this cycle will work. So it will repeat all the element one by one. We can see that. Now one thing to note is that this work even if the argument is iterator. That means we know that the iterator exhausted once all the data is completed, or once we print, or once we get all the data. Let's see the example over here. Let's see that here we have this color function, and now we are yielding three string red, green, blue. So this generator will run 3 times. or the object of this generator will run 3 times. Let's create the function. Here we are getting the object as calls. Let's run this. Now when we see list of calls, this will give you the red, green, blue because it will automatically call one by one element. Now when we again pass the same object to the list, this will give you the empty list now. This means that there is no data in there in the generator. Now let's use a cycle function over here. Now let's see how the cycle function behaves. So now this is a color. We are creating a new object of the color, and now we are passing this color. Now we are passing this object to the cycle function. Now this calls, or now this color object has become the cycle object now. So this is the G. And now we are passing this cycle object, and now we want to get the 10 element from it. So it will repeat red, green, blue one by one, and it will not get exhausted, right? So here we can see that all the value is being repeated. It is not terminating, right? So this is how cycle function work. Now let's see how the repeat function works. Now this repeat function is used to create the iterator that just return the same value again and again. So if you want to repeat it, now like let's say that if you want to repeatedly get something, right, then you can use the repeat function. And again, this is all the function like cycle, repeat, and then the earlier function we have used as count. All this function is infinite functions. Now let's create the repeat object. Here we're getting repeat object. We're saying Python. Now see, this is Python is the one object. So it will repeat Python whatever time we want. So here we are taking the loop. The every loop we want to get the next value of this generator. This is the generator now, right? So here when we run this, every time we'll get Python, Python, Python as an object. So now this is in the repeat mode. We can also pass the count, specify a count to make the iterator finite. Like here we're saying this repeat Python comma 4. This means that now we want to repeat the same element now, or we want to repeatedly get the same element 4 times. This is what the meaning is, right? Here let's call the list of G. So here we're getting the value as 4 times. Now the important thing to note as the value is return the same object. That means it is not creating a different object. This object, and all the different object, all these objects are the same object. That means the memory of all the object is shared, right? It is not a different object. It is like the same object reflecting 4 times. So the address will be same for all the object. This is what it means. Let's see the example for that. Here we have this list created with the 3 element. Now when we say repeat L 3 times, so this will give you the result. We can see the result. Now we can see that whether this L or the same object is the value of result 0, result 1, and result 2 is same or not. So here this value will be true if the memory address of L and the result 0, which is this list, it's same. Otherwise this will return false. So if two objects are identical, this will return true. And here we are testing for all 3 objects. We get true for every time. That means the memory of L is being shared, right? Now we can also get the individual list here. Now let's try to change one of the values. So here we are trying to change this value from 1 to 100. When we do this, because all 3 objects are same object, so the reflect will happen in all 3 lists. This is what the meaning is. And when we again check the all 3 lists, we can see that the value has been changed for all 3 lists. So if you want to create a separate copy, this is not the right way, but you can use the expressions comprehensions to copy all 3 objects. We can easily do this. Here we have this list. Now we are saying for item in repeat L 3 times. Now we have this repeat object. We are taking this in a loop. Now we know that all items are identical. We are just copying it with this code item colon. Now again, remember that we have already discussed this. Item colon it is similar to item dot copy, right? So if you say item dot copy and if you say item column, this is the same thing. So we are just making copy of each item in the list. Now we can see that we have the three lists. Now all the three lists are identical. We can check with the is operator. This will be false. We can even change one object, and now we can check that the result, whether this all the data has been updated or not. No, it has only updated one element. That means now this all three lists are the separate list. They are not sharing the memory, right? And this is it. This is it with the infinite iterator. Thank you very much.